Hello, first grade. Today we're going to take a look at some vocabulary words. Ooh, kind of like vocabulary, only a little bit different because it's math. And we're going to use those equal parts again like we have been all week. So let's take a look at our warm-up today. It talks about fourths. Fourths, if you have four equal parts, you're divided into fourth, your piece. So take a look at the bottom shapes there. They all have four equal parts, just like the circle that we did yesterday when we folded it and we cut it and we numbered it. So I have four equal parts. Now on this one, if you look, do you notice two circles? But remember, all these were the same shape when we turned them, weren't they? When we stacked them up together? Oh, but they took away a certain piece, so you have to look at which direction it's going. If I look at that second circle there, it looks like they took out this piece and they moved it to the top. So we don't, you know how when we do our tangrams and we get to flip them and we can turn them different ways, this time you do not get to flip this a different way. You have to look at how they have the shape and figure out which shape would slide right back in to making that whole shape. So this is a fourth, right? I'm going to teach you a new word for fourth. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the model it. We're going to do it together. I'm sticky tacked up. All right. So it says show two equal parts on that first rectangle. Take a look. I got a rectangle here. I'm going to do exactly what we did yesterday, but this time I only need two parts, not four. So I only have to fold it one time, and then I have two parts, and I'm going to number them just like we did with our circle yesterday. If you want to do this with me, you should have one empty card. Oh, I just traced my two again. I made that too thick. All right. So I have 1, 2 parts, and I am going to cut that up just like we did yesterday with our circle. And I have two equal parts. Now, if I give you one of my parts, another word for this part is half. You've probably heard that before. I bet you've done that. I bet you've said that. Like if you want to split something with somebody, you might say, hey, can I have half your sandwich? Can I have half your French fries? I know my family splits food all the time. So half, it's one of our new words, okay? Now, for that circle, pull that circle back out. It's kind of falling apart here with my sticky tack. So if I have my four equal parts, they're all the same size, and I take one away, another word for this fourth is a quarter. Quarter. Now we use quarters for money, right? 4 quarters equal $1. So if I don't have 4 quarters because my kids used all my money at the ball game last night. If I have 4 quarters, I could put 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters on my circle and make $1. It's 100 cents. 100 cents equals $1. If you go to basketball games or football games, have you ever heard them say it's first quarter or it's second quarter? If you hear them say that, then you know there are 4 parts to that game. They would have first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and fourth quarter will be your last quarter. Because you know what? If they don't ever say fifth quarter, if it's tied at the end of this one, they call it overtime. There's no fifth quarter, it's just overtime because quarter means 1/4. So we have half, give half to my friend, or we have a quarter. All right, so one more question on the next page. It says, look at half of a circle. So if I gave you half my circle and I kept half my circle, and then it says look at a quarter. So if I gave you a quarter of my circle and I kept 3/4 of my circle, we don't need to know that word. If I gave you a quarter, which one is bigger? Would you rather have, let's pretend this is a cookie because we all know Mrs. Stremke loves Girl Scout cookies. Would you rather me share half of my cookie with you or a quarter of my cookie with you? Which one's larger? Did you say half? If you said half, give yourself a pat on the back because you are correct. All right, show me your work today on halves and quarters. All right.